everyone, out at the range again today. Today I'm going to be taking another look at the PSA Rock and chambered in 5.7x28 and the M&P 5.7, also chambered in 5.7x28. And I'm also going to be taking a look at some American Eagle 40 grain and how these two compare. I've tried that in previous videos. Today I'm hoping to get some it recorded on the lab radar. And then also I'm really excited to test. I've got some American Ammunition Company 40 grain V-Max bullets. I'm hoping that this is better than just weak sauce, but we'll have to see what the lab radar tells us. So super excited. Let's just take a quick look at the two guns for those who haven't seen. Right, we got our M&P 5.7 on the right. We've got our PSA Rock on the left. Got our two magazines, two sets of ammunitions. Again, that other magazine has something from XS Arms on it, and we will leave it at that. Okay, so let's get to shooting. We've got first up the PSA Rock, and we will shoot the American Eagle. We're going to shoot about 8 rounds. Again, these are expensive. These are a little cheaper, the American Eagle or the AAC ammunition, but you know, there is really no such thing as a cheap round in 5.7. There's super expensive, and then there's really expensive, and then there's just expensive. So this is expensive rounds. I think I got this for under $1 a round, so somewhere around 70 cents a round. And then this one I think was around 66, which is awesome. So let's see what we get when we start to shoot it. Wasn't able to capture this before, so I hope I'm able to now. 1622, 1646, 1656, 1612, 1635, 1630, 1635, and 1633. Okay, so let's just do the add up, see what the averages are. Again, super sunny. Hopefully maybe I can put my hand over it. So the average was 1634, high of 1656. Let's see if I can get that to zoom in. Average of 1634, high of 1656, low of 1612, and standard deviation of 13.5. Again, that's not a great round out of a pistol. Pretty low. That would represent a pretty low energy foot-pounds, and I'll certainly have that in my add-up slide at the end. Okay, next up, we've got the M&P 5.7, the American Eagle. See what it does. See, hopefully we can capture this on here, on the lab radar. 1591. 1571, 1594, 1588, 1596, 1586, 1594, and 1597. So again, not great. And what we were seeing yet again was a loss in velocity with this piston barrel gun. So I'm pretty sure many in the community have figured this out now, but it's diverting the gases to drive the piston. Some of those gases aren't able to build up and get the barrel as far. It is 0.2 of an inch shorter of a barrel. I don't think that results in the velocity change that you end up seeing. So again, our average was 1590. Our high was 1597, low of 1571, standard deviation of 8.4, and we took 8 shots. So again, I think we are just seeing that is one of the things with the M&P 5.7 that you're just going to have to expect a lower velocity out of the gun, but it is a little bit softer shooting. I do think there's just a little bit of more flip in the recoil on the M&P 5.7, but as I showed in the other day with the accuracy, it's looking like it's maybe a little bit more accurate. Could be me, the shooter, could be a lot of different things. I don't think anybody should take any recommendations based on what I find, but hopefully some people find it interesting and entertaining at least. All right, so next up, let's just take a look at what the American ammunition company can do. And if we're getting a little bit better than averages around 1,600 feet per second, which again is pretty anemic. Before I do that, I want to just take a look at the different types of ammunition. This is the American Eagle round with its F&H case, and this is the AAC round. I actually think it looks incredibly similar to the Vanguard Outfitters, and now I'm starting to think I remember reading that it is buying the case from Vanguard Outfitters, but I'm not exactly sure. I know that Vanguard Outfitters makes their own cases now. I think Elite Ammunition is starting to do that, but interesting. They're that sort of poly-coated case, if you can take a look at that. And it has that Barnes tip on it, the V-Max. So a couple of interesting rounds, different type looks at it. I think these are very similar in size, both hitting the spec. So they're both up against each other. I mean, maybe that other one with its ballistic tip is just a little bit longer. I'll have to get some calipers and take a look at that, but interesting. Okay, so next up I have PSA Rock with the American Ammunition. Let's see how it goes. If we can get it recorded. 1856. It is heavier. It's almost about 200 feet per second more. That's good. 1852. 1863. 1848. 1847. 1878. 1850. And 1836. Awesome. Yeah, we got that covered. Let's just take a quick look, see what our average is, standard deviation. All right, so maybe you can't see it, but our average is 1854, high of 1878, low of 1836, standard deviation of 12.6 and 8 shots. All right, so far I am really excited about this AAC ammo. It may not be the hottest thing since sliced bread, but it's definitely better than this American Eagle stuff. Okay, next up, we've got the M&P 5.7 with the American Ammunition Corporation Company. We got 8 rounds. See what we get. Get a little closer to lab radar. 1822, 1807, 1806, 1767, 1798, 1812, 1817, and 1823. All right, so let's take a look at the add-up. See what we get. Again, you guys can't really see it because it's so freaking sunny. Average of 1807, low of 1767, high of 1823, standard deviation of 18.2, and 8 shots. Okay, next up what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot both the Rock and the M&P, and we're going to see a difference between the two and see in terms of just accuracy. I'll shoot a target at 10 yards, and I'm just going to be shooting 5 rounds each, and we'll see if there's any accuracy distance. Remember, if you've seen my previous videos, I sighted these in on the Vanguard Outfitters, so we'll also see if we get a point of impact, point of aim shift with those. So I'll be shooting on the right, the PSA Rock. And then on the left, I'm going to shoot the M&P. Okay, let's go up and take a look. So on the right was the rock. Notice I did start shooting a firing a little bit faster. I don't know. Again, it's interesting. I vertically strung them here, and I horizontally strung them here. Still think the M&P 5.7 has a little bit tighter of a group than the rock, but maybe I'm wrong. I didn't hit any in the orange on the M&P. Definitely hit 3, 4 almost on the borders of that orange, versus I only hit, I don't even know if you can count any of those hitting the border of the orange on that side. So interesting. Next up, I'm going to take a look at 25 yards. Now, as I'm shooting this go around, just for memory, Vanguard Outfitters Monumental 36 grain was pretty well centered for both of those. I would say that the M&P is a little shading a little left. So I do feel like I see a little bit more of a point of aim, point of impact shift with depending on the ammo, more with the M&P 5.7 than I do with the PSA Rock. That could be just that barrel. I think that is very gun specific, not in barrel specific, not manufacturer, not anything else. So take that with a grain of salt if you're trying to look at, if you're doing a versus or which one you like more. Just noting it for me and for my gun. Your mileage may vary. But first up, let's just take 25 yards. We're going to be looking at the M&P 5, the PSA Rock. First up, 5 shots. We'll shoot the target on the right, the rock. It's going to be a little bit of calling me to the table on my shooting. We're shooting at 25 yards. I hope I hit any of them on the target. Don't laugh at me if I don't hit any of them. I think you may be laughing at me. I actually think that point of impact shift on the M&P is going to be a big deal when we get down to 25 yards. Notice they were starting to string left at the 10. I think we may be getting even further off down here. Again, we shot 5 shots. Let's see how many targets I hit. So look at the PSA Rock. I'd say at 25 yards for me, that's pretty good shooting. I have 1, 2, 3 still in the 10 zone, 4, 9, 5, 8 for me. Standing freehand like that, that's good for me. And then we have over here the M&P. We have 1 for sure, 2, probably 3, 4, maybe 5 there, or maybe 5 here. I don't know, but that shift left is definitely it. I think I need to I'm going to come pace this up. I'm going to move my thing to the right a little bit and see what happens, but just note, I think that is a point of impact shift on that ammunition. Well, dang it, I forgot to turn the crammer on. And I just shot. I promise I did not take a pencil down range, because if I did, I would mark the holes a lot closer than what I just shot right here. But I just shot 5 shots. I had moved the bullets around closer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Versus over here, the rock is a little bit steadier. I'm not sure why. Seems like I'm shooting these a tighter group when I'm closer up, at longer range. The rock is doing just a little bit better. Very interesting. You can see I moved it over a few degrees. Still, maybe I could move it over just a little bit more, but the up and down is about even, I would say. And the rock, maybe the winner on that one today. Okay, well, tell me what you think. Doing a little bit more and more testing. I think American ammunition, yes. I think PSA Rock, yes. I think M&P 5.7, yes. I don't think you can go wrong either way. Tell me what you think. If you prefer one or the other, if you have one or the other, if you're thinking about getting them, let me know what you think. Definitely, if you have any 5.7, I would definitely say buy the AAC ammo from Palmetto State Armory when you get a chance. I think it's well worth the money in terms of 5.7 ammo. I'm going to do a little bit of an add-up slide now, and we'll just take a comparison look between the Federal American Eagle and the AAC 40 grain ammunition, and we'll see what the energy foot-pounds and things are like that. Okay, let's just take a quick look at the add-up slide here. What we're seeing, I have included from previous testing when I did the SS198 LF between the PSA Rock and the M&P 5.7. Notice that was what I consider sort of one of the bare minimum amount of power coming out of the 5.7. I was pretty happy with that, getting over 304 energy foot-pounds on the PSA Rock. When you compare it to the M&P 5.7, we're down to 283. That trend continues, although with some ammunition, not as much of a change, but some of a change. So when we compare American Federal Eagle, it only drops about 12 energy foot-pounds between the Rock and the 5.7, which is fairly consistent when you compare all three of these between the Rock and the 5.7. It sort of changes between 12 and 15 energy foot-pounds of difference between the two guns. Maybe not enough to make a difference, but who knows? With hollow point expansion, you may just be on that threshold and may just miss it. So thoughts on the American Ammunition Company's 40 grain PSA Rock? I think that's a really great round. We're getting, for the 60 cents a round that I paid for it, we're getting 300 energy foot-pounds versus you compare that with the SS198 LF. Gosh, that's probably like $1.50 a round, $2 a round. I mean, this is the clear winner on price per energy foot-pounds. So if you can find it at Palmetto State Armory, because they're just coming out with it, it's in hot demand, I would say pick it up when you get some. This is a pretty good round to keep. Also very impressed with, again, the Rock and its shooting. Could be the M&P 5.7, maybe just difference of how I shoot it at distance. But I don't think you can go wrong with either one. Of course, you should go without saying, never trust a random person on the internet, especially don't trust me. Of course, I never even comment on any of this, but of course, the 12 people that will ever see this presentation, I paid for every single bit of this out of my own pocket. The ammo, the guns. I'm just a hobbyist. I'm not a YouTuber. Happen to share what I'm doing on YouTube, but, I'm not selling for PSA. Go buy what you want, do what you want. I don't really care. It doesn't make any difference to me. Hope you like this. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks.